Hello, and welcome to this lab. In this lab, you will learn to manage network security on a RHEL system using the Firewalld service. This includes configuring the firewall, managing services, and creating custom rules to secure the network. Let's get started. Now you are on the lab. In step 1, click on the hamburger icon in the VS Code and choose Terminal. Then, select New Terminal to open a fresh command terminal where you'll execute the upcoming commands. Now click on the Next button. In step 2, verify if the IP table service is active by checking its status. If the system responds with a message like unit-iptables.service not found, it indicates that IP tables is not installed or running. Now we get unit IP tables.service not found, which means IP tables is not running. As IP tables is not running, we can skip the next steps. However, let's attempt them to understand the process. Stop the IP table service by entering the systemctl stop IP tables command. This will give an error because the IP table service is already stopped or not present on the system. Now we will try to disable the IP table service using the systemctl disable IP tables command. This will also result in an error because the iptable service is already stopped or not present on the system. Now we attempt to mask the IP table service to prevent it from being started accidentally by using the systemctl mask IP tables command. Since the iptable service is already stopped or not present, this will also result in an error. Now let's check the status of the Firewalld service to verify if it is installed. If it is not installed, you can install it using the command yum install Firewalld. Then click the check button to verify whether it was successfully installed. Now, to ensure that the Firewalld service starts automatically every time the system boots, we need to enable it using the systemctl enable Firewalld command. Then click the check button to confirm the action. Now start the Firewalld service using systemctl start Firewalld command. Now check the status of the Firewalld service by running the command systemctl status Firewalld to confirm that the service is active and enabled. Then run the command firewallcmd list all to check the current firewall configuration. This will display all the active rules and settings. Now in the next step, we will list the available services for firewall configuration using the command firewallcmd get services. This will show all the services that can be added or managed by the firewall. Now we will add the HTTP service to the firewall configuration using the command firewallcmd add service equals HTTP. This will allow inbound HTTP traffic through the firewall. Then verify this by clicking on the check button. Now in the next step, we will reload the firewall configuration using the following command. This will flush all temporary rules from the configuration, and you'll notice that the HTTP service is no longer present. You can verify this by clicking on the check button. Now in the next step, we will add the HTTP service to the firewall configuration permanently. This ensures that the change persists even after a reload. Now in the next step, we will remove the HTTP service from the current runtime configuration using the command firewall cmd remove service equals HTTP. Now in the next step, we will list the available zones for the Firewalld service using the command firewallcmd get zones. This will show you the different zones available for configuring the firewall services. Now we will get the active zone using the firewallcmd get active zones command. This will show that the active zone is set to public, which is the default zone when you start the Firewalld service. Now in this step, we will list all the firewall rules for the internal zone. This will display the current rules associated with the internal zone. Now in this step, we will create a custom service by copying the contents of the ssh.xml file to a new file named customservice.xml using the cp command. Now in this step, we will edit the customservice.xml file using the VI editor. We'll change the port number to 2200, update the description to "This is a custom service," and rename the service to Custom Service. Now in the next step, we will restart the Firewalld service to apply the changes, and then check the list of available services. You will notice that the custom service is now listed. Now in this step, we will expose the TCP port 1234 by adding it to the inbound firewall rules. This is done using the firewall CMD, add port equals 1234/TCP command. Then verify your changes by clicking on the check button. Now here, we will remove the TCP port 1234 that was added in the previous step. This is done using the firewall CMD, remove port equals 1234/TCP command. Then verify your changes by clicking on the check button. Now in this step, we will add a rich rule to block incoming traffic from the IP address 192.168.1.10 using the appropriate firewall CMD command. Then verify the changes by clicking the check button. Now we will remove the rich rule added in the previous step using the appropriate firewall CMD command with the Remove Rich Rule option. Then verify the changes by clicking the check button. Now we will add a rich rule to block outgoing ICMP traffic by preventing echo request messages. We will make this change permanent and reload the firewall CMD service to ensure the changes take effect. Then verify your configuration using the check button. Now here we will remove the rule added in the previous step that blocked outgoing ICMP traffic. Afterward, the firewall CMD configuration will be reloaded to ensure the changes take effect. Verify the changes by clicking on the check button. Now here we will install the bindutils package using the command. This package includes useful networking tools such as the dig command. Now in this step, we will block outgoing traffic to Google. First, we need to determine the IP address of Google by using the dig command. Now in this step, we will block outgoing traffic to www.google.com by using the IP address found in the previous step. This can be done using the firewall CMD, direct add rule command to drop the traffic. Now in this step, we will confirm the change by viewing the direct firewall rules. You will not be able to see this rule using the firewall CMD, list all command. Now in this step, we will verify the block by using the curl command with the blocked IP. Note that curl.google.com may still work as Google uses multiple IPs to serve content. Now in this step, we will unblock the outgoing traffic to the IP address blocked earlier. Replace the IP address in the command with the one you used previously and verify by clicking on the check button. Now you have successfully completed the exercise. Mark the lab as complete to finish.